Hello, am I audible to you? Hello. Is this better? Okay, just a minute. Now, is it better now? Okay, so let us continue. So, welcome everybody. So, we are four of us in total, Pallavi, Pratiksha, and Samita. So, my name is Mitali Prabhu, and I'm an BE and an MBA. I'm clear, right? Okay, so before we begin, just to know a little background about you all, just kindly quickly introduce yourselves, your current qualification and your medium of school education, if you all have studied in English or Marathi, and which exam are you preparing for, or why are you learning this? Yes, and your education, school education. Okay. Okay, so can we be a little quick here? Okay, Samidha. And Pratiksha. Okay. Okay, so let's begin. So as we all are, as you guys are preparing for competitive exams, so the very important thing while you prepare for competitive exams is to prepare very strategically for it. Along with hard work, you need a lot of smart work. You have to know the syllabus well, the weightage, the topics that help you score well, or the topics that are very time consuming. Okay, so to study strategically, we will have to study in a way that fetches us maximum marks. So now the sections that we have in competitive exams are the quant, general reasoning, general awareness, and English. So talking specifically about general English, if you compare it with reasoning and if you compare it with quantitative aptitude, reasoning and quants both, when you solve your exam paper, these two topics are very time consuming. You have to solve each sum. But when it comes to general awareness or when it comes to English, if you know the concepts and if you're aware about the current happenings, then you just have to mark the answers. So these are very scoring and they take very less time. In quants and reasoning, students are not able to complete the entire paper, but English and general awareness usually tend to fetch you a lot of marks. Okay, so as I said, English is scoring. So now I will take you all through the syllabus of English. So the most important, there are 4 sections in pre-exams and 1 extra section is in main. So is for y'all. We have synonyms, antonyms, homophones, homonyms, fill in the blanks, idioms and phrases, and along with this in RC section also, the reading comprehension section also, we have a multiple questions which ask you the closest meaning or the most similar meaning. So they also have a weightage in your reading, in your comprehension section. Okay. So for vocabulary, you have to start preparing right from day one, like right from today. So at the end of every lecture, we will take a few root words and try to form multiple words with that. So every day, if you study 10 words, then you will have, by the end of a month, you will have more than 300 words with you. That is how you build on your vocabulary. Then for your grammar, there are very basic rules. And if you know the rules, then spotting the error is going to be very easy for you all. Sentence correction also along with spotting of error. Then what you have is rearrangement of sentences. Now again, rearrangement of sentences and reading comprehension is going to be easy for y'all if y'all read a lot of English, because here it is not about just knowing to read English, but you have to read very fast, because reading comprehension can be very time consuming. This is the only section of your English paper that will be time consuming. So for that, you have to read a lot of English newspapers, magazines and articles. Also, descriptive writing, we'll talk about it later. It is a part of the mains exam and you don't have to worry it for now. So now let's move on to grammar. So today's topic that I've taken for a discussion is noun. So as most of y'all are from English medium, noun, y'all will be very aware with the basics of nouns, but the English that we speak and the English that is the written English is very different. So hence the rules of English come into action. So now for our understanding, we are all aware what a noun is. Okay, so to explain it, a noun is a naming word. So everything around us that you want to call is given a specific name. So it can be name of a person, a place, an animal, or a thing. All these are nouns. So can you all tell me how many types of nouns are you all aware of? Can you all write in the chat box? Okay. So as you all are aware, the types of nouns are common noun, proper noun, collective noun, and abstract noun. Now, what is a common noun? Anything that is not, yes, there are 10 types of nouns which are countable, uncountable. Then we have kinds in gender and numerical, but the basic types are the 4 types, which is, so the common noun is the noun which is nothing in particular, no specific name. So if I tell you anything which has 4 legs and which barks, it's a dog. That is a common noun. Now, if you name this, now if you have a pet dog, you give it a name Bruno. Now that becomes a proper noun because it has a specific name. Now, what are collective nouns? Now, a name given to a similar group of things, objects, or people is a collective noun. Yes, right, Rahul. Bunch, or you can say herd, or crew, or group. And later we have abstract noun. So abstract noun, anything that you can't see or you can't touch, but you can feel it, is an abstract noun. So ideas or emotions such as love, compassion, sadness, all these are abstract nouns. So this is the very basic. So now if I give you a sentence just so that I know if you all are with me. Now this is a sentence. Akshay is the only boy in the team who has patience and consistency. Can you guys point out the 4 types of nouns in these? Yeah, right. Akshay will be the proper noun. Then boy will be the common noun. Team will be the collective noun. Yes. Yes. Patience will be what? Yeah, patience and consistency both will be the abstract noun. Now, what if I had the word patient here? Akshay is the only boy in the team who is patient. Will patient be the noun here? Yes, patient will not be a noun. Patient will be an adjective there. So it is very important. Yes, very good, Rahul. So moving on. Now, as you said, Rahul, there are 10 types. So I have discussed the types here. So now, first to begin with, first kind is masculine. So boy, man, tiger, father, brother, all these are masculine nouns. Also, anything which is personified and which is personified to have strength or power or violence or anything particularly negative is also categorized as a masculine word, as a masculine noun. So let me give you an example here. If, okay, wait. So this statement here, the ocean roared with all his might and he swallowed the ship. Here we have used his and he, and we have not used your it, because your ocean is given, or ocean is personified. It is given the human quality to roar, which denotes strength or power, and hence our statement will have his here and he here. So we have given it a gender. Similarly, in feminine noun, anything, so we are aware with girl, woman, tigress, mother, sister being a feminine noun, but also anything which is related to beauty, shyness, happiness, hope, or anything which is positive is going to be very feminine. If we see examples here, nature offers her lap to anyone who seeks her. It is not going to be it here, but her, because nature has this quality of showing love or compassion. Also, the moon has hidden her face behind the clouds. Here, the quality of shyness of the moon is shown. Hence, we'll have a her here. Now, the third, okay, now I'll give you this example. Just give me answers. Just fill in these two blanks. Okay, so Rahul, your answer is not correct for the first one, because here the river and her tributaries provide water to the entire village. No, Pallavi, even your answer is wrong. As I said here earlier, anything which is masculine in nature or which is negative or which has strength or power is going to have a masculine gender associated with it. So for anything that is masculine, we are going to have a his, he, him with it. Also, for anything which is feminine, which shows beauty, shyness, anything which is girly, we are going to have a her associated with it. So going back to our example, the river and dash tributaries provide water to the entire village. Now the river provides water. This is a positive quality. This shows that the people survive on the water of the river. So we are going to have a her here. And here the flood water of river and his tributaries, because here the action is of destroying the entire village. The action is very negative, so we are going to have a his here. Am I clear? We're going to have a her here and we're going to have a his here. Okay, so Pratiksha, I'll repeat this one for you. Okay. So let's start with this again. So as I told you, yes, right, Rahul. So when Pratiksha, this one is for you. So when anything which is very, so right, boy, man, father, tiger, brother, all these are masculine. Now we also have qualities associated with men, like strength, power, violence. See how men in general are. Men are considered to be very physically strong to women. They are considered to be having a more physical power or power in general than women, or a little more violent. How boys or how men are. So if your sentence, if anything has negativity or strength or power associated with it, then it's going to be a masculine gender. And similarly, anything which is soft or which is associated with beauty, shyness, happiness, joy, cheerfulness, compassion, anything which is positive, what brings positivity to your head, and the good things are always associated with feminine gender. Did you understand? Yes. And what about Rucha and Samidha? Okay. So your nature is offering her lap. Okay. So it is an act of showing a little compassion or love. So that is why we have associated with feminine gender. The moon has hidden her face. So it is shyness. So we are associating with feminine. Now if this sentence, did you understand, Pratiksha, now? Yes. Okay. So moving on. Okay, there are some genders which are both male and female. So if I tell you, my teacher is very good, can you figure out the gender of the teacher? It can be both male and female. It can be he and she. So there are some, yes. So there are some nouns which are very common. Teacher, doctor, lawyer, student, cook, parent, or sibling, or cousin, you cannot understand unless it is mentioned. So these are common common genders. Okay. So if I give you a sentence, I have a teacher dash is very good at mathematics. So then here you can write both he and she. Okay, but preferably in English language we go with he. Okay, so moving on. So now some genders are neutral in nature. So all non-living things are given a neutral gender. So whenever we refer to chair, table, or speakers or book, it is a book, it is a pen. Okay, so we refer to it as neutral genders. We do not give him he is a book or she is a book. Similarly, there are few cases when even with living beings we consider neutral genders. Like suppose if it is a child, if it is a kid, or if it is a small newborn infant, then whenever there is a newborn, what do we say? It is a baby girl, it is a baby boy. Or if we are talking about a mosquito, it is a mosquito, or it is a fly, or it is a child. So you remember these cases. All non-living things are given a neutral gender, and in living things, there are child, kid, infant, some animals, and all the insects. We refer to them as it. Now with some animals, so few animals like lion, lion is the male, lioness is the female, tiger is the male, tigress is the female. But when we talk about snake, it is a snake. We don't refer to it as a particular male or female gender. Okay, so we went through the 4 kinds, that was masculine, feminine, common, and neutral. So moving on, was I clear till now? Pratiksha? Okay, so now talking about the numbers. So as there are numbers, there are genders also. Okay, so now the first rule of gender is there are these 4 words in which you can use them both in singular and plural forms similarly. So if you have 1 sheep or if you have 10 sheep, you're going to call it sheep. You can never make it sheeps. For example, if I say there is a sheep on the farm or there are many sheep on the farm, we are never going to say sheeps. Also, similarly, the case with deer, there are many deer. So when we talk about lions, we always say pride of lions. But when we talk about deer, we specifically say it is a herd of deer and not deers. And when, similarly, the case with swine, there are a lot of swine in the puddle. We never say there are a lot of swines in the puddle. Now talking about pair. I have 2 pair of jeans. I have a pair of jeans. Or I have a pair of scissors. Pair is always going to be used like pair, both singular and plural. Even if you're talking about one or you're talking about many, it's always going to be pair. So if you note this down, let's move on. Okay. So this is the second rule. Now some nouns are always used as plural because they exist in 2 parts. So pants, pajamas, trousers, or even socks, all these are always called as or always in plural form. You never say sock, you never say pajama, or you never say trouser. It's always trousers. Or you always, or when it comes to tools and machinery, it's always scissors, glasses, binoculars. Also, when you talk about premises, now when you talk about my college premises or my school premises, it's always premises. It is not premise. Okay, we often, when we talk casually, we always talk like college premise, but it is incorrect. It's always premises. There is one more word like bricks. So bricks is incorrect English. Brick. Okay, it's always going to be brick. BRICK. And bricks is the organization bricks. Okay. So moving on. So brick is another word which is always used in singular form and plural both. Okay. So now there are some nouns which look plural but are singular in form. Okay. So mathematics, politics, innings, civics, economics, all these words, when you hear, they have an S in the end. So we get an impression that they might be plural, but they are not plural, they are singular words. When we talk about mathematics, we say mathematics is an easy subject, civics is an easy subject, or economics is an easy subject, or politics is very dirty, or politics is very corrupt. But, and specifically you remember this word innings, because when we say I played 5 innings, it is going to be 5 innings, and when you say I played 1 innings, it is again going to be innings. It is never going to be inning. He played a innings. He played 5 innings. It is always going to be innings. Okay. But there is an exception in this case when such nouns become possessive, or when they are associated with a particular person, they become plural. So when you talk about mathematics, when you talk about my mathematics are weak. Because I'm talking about my mathematics, it is going to be plural here. The politics of our country are corrupt. Politics is corrupt when you're talking about politics in general. But now if you're talking about politics of our country, it is going to be a plural here. The economics of Sheetal are weak. Because again, you have given it a particular association with a person. I hope you are not confused, right? Pratiksha and Rucha Samidha. So we can move on quickly. See, there are these all words, we use them, but so this heading, don't get confused with this heading. The more you keep on reading it, you will get very accustomed to it. Okay. Okay. So now some nouns which look singular but are plural. So now cattle, we often tend to say that cattle is, but that is incorrect. Cattle are grazing. Cattle is always a plural, and therefore you are always going to associate a plural verb with it. Similarly, clergy, peasantry, cavalry, infantry, children, poultry, gentry. Children are ready for school. Police are, this is very important. We always tend to say that police is on the way, but police is never a singular noun, but a plural noun. So we are going to use are with it. Remember this, cattle and police. Okay, so moving on. Yeah. So now some nouns are never used in plural because these are uncountable. So even if they are very small, you cannot count them. If they are very small or they're very large, they are never used in plural form. You are always going to use them in singular form. If, for example, let me give you information. You cannot count information. You cannot say 1 information, 2 information, or 10 information. Similarly, luggage. See, when it comes to bag, I have 10 bags, I have 5 bags. You can count the number of bags. But with luggage, you never count the luggage. In case of poetry, when you talk about poetry, you cannot count it. You can say, I read a poem, I read 2 poems, but you never count poetry. Similarly, you remember these words: advice, business, baggage, wastage, money, income, salary, machinery, all these words. So what to do if you want to talk about this in a plural sense? So you attach a word before it. See, so if you say pieces of crockery, I have 5 pieces of crockery, then it is going to be plural. I have 1 piece of crockery. Pieces of advice or slices of bread, I will have 2 slices of bread, or I will have 1 slice of bread. That is how you can make them plural. Now, there are 2 special cases, and these are very important cases, even in spoken English and written English. One is hare, and the other one is fish. So when do you use hare and when to use hares? So we use hair whenever it's sticking to our body, whenever it's on our body, or whenever it's on our head, we use it in singular form. Okay. So when you talk about your own hair, it's very long, it's very thick, it's very thin, then it's going to be, because you cannot count it. So because you cannot count it, we use it as hair. But then if there is hair on the floor, and if you can see there are 2-3 strands of hair, then what do you say? Then you can count those 2-3 strands. Now these are hairs on the floor, because so you can see once they become countable, once you can count them, then you can give it them a plural sense. But when you cannot, when they're uncountable, then it becomes 1 unit. Then it becomes 1 unit. The head on your hair becomes 1 unit. So then it becomes hair. Similarly, talking about fish. Now, if you talk about fish in an ocean, or you talk about fish in a lake where you cannot count them, then you refer to it as fish. There are many fish in the ocean. But suppose you have a fish tank. You can count the fishes, right? You may have goldfish, or you may have catfish. Then what do you say? I have 2 fishes in the tank, or I have 5 fishes in the tank. But if there are many small fishes that you cannot count, then you refer to as fish. I have fish in the tank. So am I clear? Have you all understood this? Okay. So now this was gender and the numbers, plural and singular, when to use plural, when to use singular, when to use masculine, when to use feminine, when to use neutral. So now let's move on to the rules of nouns. Okay. So the first rule is, whenever you want to compare the quality, okay, the quality and the characteristic. Suppose if there is a very smart, so you don't read, I'll explain first. If there is a very smart student in your class, so if he's very smart in maths, then what do you say? He's the Aryabhatta of our class. But Aryabhatta is again a proper noun. But then you still put a the before it, because here you're not comparing Aryabhatta as Aryabhatta, but you're comparing the qualities, the intelligence of the student with Aryabhatta. So then Aryabhatta will become a common noun. For example, Abhishek is the Sachin of our team. Here, Sachin is become like a common noun because you're comparing the quality of Sachin, the quality how Sachin plays in cricket with Abhishek. So now Sachin will no longer be a proper noun because you're talking about the quality. So we'll put a the before it. Similarly, Kalidas is the Shakespeare of India. We are comparing the qualities or the characteristics of Shakespeare, how he used to write literature with Kalidas. So now Kalidas will become the proper noun here and Shakespeare becomes the common noun, and so we put a the before him. Now, Rahul is the Tina Dabi of our class. Now, Tina Dabi is a female, but we are comparing not Tina Dabi with Rahul, but the characteristics of Tina Dabi, the intelligence or the smartness of Tina Dabi with Rahul. So hence we can compare both of them by putting a the here. So this is rule 1, place the before a proper noun when used as a common noun. Moving on. Okay. So whenever we talk about collective noun, it becomes one group and one unit. It is no longer treated as a single person in the group. So if you're talking about a team, we don't talk about player 1, player 2, player 3. It becomes a team and becomes one unit. Similarly, if it is a group, now what did I say? It is a group. So a group, because it becomes one group, irrespective of the number of people inside it. So when we talk about collective noun, we use a single word. Is, not are, okay, and you're it. So a team is together in its decision. A committee is unified in its verdict. Now, if you see words such as together and unified suggest that it is a closely knit team or a closely knit committee. There are no contradictions in the team, but there is an exception when there is a conflict inside the team, or when the motive or the intentions of the team are distributed and they are not aiming for a single goal, then we cannot consider it as one unit. For example, the jury here, if you see, the jury are divided in their opinion. We have used are because here the jury is divided, it is no more together. So now each member of the jury is going to be referred to, and then the collective noun we'll use the verb are, plural verb with the collective noun jury. This is one exception, that whenever the motive is divided or different, you have to use plural. Otherwise, most of the cases, whenever the question you get, you have to remember this, that the verb has to be singular. Okay, so Pratiksha, I guess you must have not understood the exception part. So now let me tell you that whenever the intention, here the jury, as in the lawyers or the panel members, are not together. They are not together in their opinion. They have different opinions. So now they don't have one intention, okay? They are very different to each other. So you cannot treat them as one unit. So that is why you're going to use a plural verb with it, that is are. If it was together, if the sentence was like the jury is unified in its verdict, like this. If it was together, we would say the jury is unified in its verdict. But because the members of the jury are not together, we use the plural word are. Am I clear now? This is one peculiar example that you'll have to remember. Okay, most of the cases, this will be enough. But in spotting the error and in sentence correction, we tend to not notice all these things. So you pay close attention to this, okay? So now, okay. Now there are certain abstract nouns and material nouns. Most of the abstract nouns and material nouns. Now what are material nouns? Material nouns are the nouns which are given to metals or wood or gold, silver, copper. All these are material nouns. Now these nouns do not form plurals, okay? And when formed, they will have a totally different meaning. Like gold becomes golds. Now if I want to say she has a lot of gold, I will still use gold in singular form and not in plural. I will not say she has a lot of golds. It is going to be gold. Let it be little gold or more gold. It's going to be gold. Similarly, water. Now, when you talk about a lot of water, you're going to add a unit before water and not make it waters. Okay? There is a lot of water and not waters. Similarly, air. When you say there is a lot of fresh air, you don't say there is a lot of fresh airs. Airs means what? He is very airs about himself. Airs means arrogance. Similarly, wood. Wood in singular form means wood, the wood that furniture is made of, and woods. Woods, when you make it plural, you can make it plural, but then the word completely changes. So woods will become forest. He was moving through the woods. He went through the woods. So he went through the forest. Okay, now this is very important. So there are two things. One is unit of, first let me explain to you what unit of counting is. Okay, so unit, whenever there are things that you can count, as I said, when you can count the hair on the floor, 1 2 3, you can count it. So that is how you count things. So that becomes unit of counting. Like dozen is a unit of counting. 12 items of anything make 1 dozen. Similarly, million and 100 items of anything, so you can club it as 100 and then it becomes 100 or 200. So these are all unit of counting. And you do not confuse this with kilograms or meters, because they are all unit of measurement. See, counting is always something that you can count, and kilograms is measured. So meters is measured or kilometers is measured. So that becomes unit of measurement. So now unit of counting, whenever unit of counting, dozen, million, 100 is all preceded by a number. See, now I've written dozen, million, and 100. And there is a number. It is preceded by a number, 10, 5, and 8. Okay. So all these are in singular form. What? Dozen, million, and 100. These are all in singular forms because there is a number before it. Okay. It will not be 10 dozens bananas, or forget the bananas. It will not be 10 dozens. It will always, whenever you say, I want one dozen, or I want 2 dozen, or 3 dozen, we never talk 3 dozens. Similarly, there is no millions. Millions is totally wrong. 5, whenever there is a number, okay? This is very important. When preceded by a number, whenever there is a number, it's going to be, and you don't confuse this with this, okay? Rupees is going to be plural because rupees is not a unit of measurement here. Okay? She bought a dozen of eggs. She bought 10 dozen of eggs. It is always going to be singular. And when will this be plural? This will be plural when there is no number. As I said, in that case, there was 10, 5, and 8. But when there is no number, it is going to be plural. For example, I have millions of rupees. Is there any number? No. If there was number, then it would be million. I have 10 million rupees. But here, because there is no number, I have millions of rupees. He eats dozens of eggs. So hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, dozens, scores, all these will be plural when they have no number before them. And as I said, do not confuse it with kilograms, meters, centimeters, anything that is measured. Okay, anything that requires a measuring tape or a weighing scale, all these that you cannot count. These are unit of measurements. This rule is applicable only for units of counting. Is it clear? Okay. So now, when you talk about when your sentence is in the form of noun, preposition, and again a noun. Okay. For example, year after year. So this is a noun. Year is a noun. After is a preposition, and year is again a noun. Day. So year, it is never going to be years after years. See, all these things we don't notice while we talk, but then in written English, this is very, very important. We say day after day, or door to door. We never say days after days or months. See, when we talk, we tend to say months after months or months by months, but it is incorrect. It's always going to be in singular form, month after month, or village after village was destroyed. Okay. So you remember this noun, preposition and noun, whenever it is in this format, both the nouns are going to be singular and not plural. Okay, so moving on. Now these are a few rules on the use of apostrophe. So apostrophe is, as you know, when I write apostrophe S, it is used to show possession or belongingness to that item. So when I say Rita's car, means the car which belongs to Rita. That is what I mean by showing belongingness or showing ownership. So when do we use an apostrophe S? With all living things, as I said, Rita's car or Asha's car or Ritu's ball or whatever, it is always going to be apostrophe S with living beings. But if the name of this living beings ends in an S, then you cannot put S apostrophe S. For example, now the word is Charles. In normal convention, if this rule was not applicable, what would we write? Charles apostrophe S. But because it is already ending in an S, we will again not write S, but the apostrophe is self-explanatory of the fact. Okay. Here, because there was no S, we used an apostrophe S. So moving on. Okay, so that was the rule for living. Now for the rule for non-living, we never use an apostrophe with non-living. Okay. So when I say the chair's leg, this is incorrect. Okay, this is incorrect. So how do we write it? We write it as the leg of the chair. This is incorrect. The leg of the chair is broken. This is correct. So the door of the house is beautiful. The house's door is beautiful will be incorrect. You cannot use an apostrophe with non-living. But if you give that, so there is an exception in this case. If you give that non-living thing a personification, if you give them a human quality, see, if I guess you'll know the meaning of personification. We had this figure of speech. So whenever you give a non-living thing a human quality, then we say it to be personified. So your nature's love. So nature is given the human quality of loving. Loving is not something non-living things can do. But here we are talking about nature's love, a human quality. So here you can use an apostrophe because you have made it living. Celestial bodies, when you talk about Earth's atmosphere, moon's glory, or sun, celestial bodies are all the bodies in the space. Okay, when you talk about these bodies, you can use an apostrophe. So remember these two exceptions. Okay. So again, you cannot use an apostrophe with non-living things unless these two exceptions. Okay. So talking about joint possession. See, now this is again a very important case and a case which is frequently repeated in the exams. Here, when there is a case of joint possession, what do you mean by joint possession? When let's take an example here. Sanjay and Rajiv's mother is Indira. So Sanjay Gandhi and Rajiv's mother was Indira Gandhi, okay, or is Indira Gandhi, as I've written in the sentence. Here you cannot have Sanjay's mother because both of their mothers was Indira Gandhi. So here there is no need of this apostrophe S. It is very understood that, so you put an apostrophe with the second noun and it is understood that it is associated with Indira Gandhi, okay, because it's a joint possession. Their mother is common, okay. Also, now if you talk about a common movie or Shah Rukh and like DDLJ, now this is one movie in which both of them have acted together. So then you would say Shah Rukh and Kajol's movie is very famous. You never say Shah Rukh's and Kajol's movie is famous. You will say Shah Rukh and Kajol's movie is famous. This is a very important rule. And so this is the case of joint possession. Now, what if Shah Rukh and Kajol are working in two different movies? Now, how would you say it? Then you will have to put an apostrophe at both the places. For example, here, disjoint possession. Shah Rukh's and Salman's movies released during Diwali. Okay? Because here, both of them are working in different. How will you understand? See here, it's movies, means it is plural. Also here, means there are two movies here. Also, in the previous case, Shah Rukh and Kajol's movie is very famous. So, is means what? It is talking about a single movie. Atif's and Arijit songs are very famous. Means you're talking about songs of Arijit, different songs of Arijit and different songs of Atif. So you will put apostrophe in both the cases. Is this clear? This is a very important rule. Pratiksha, Pallavi. Okay. Okay, so these are last two rules for apostrophe. Okay, so when you talk about a title, okay, so now Mr. Obama is the president. There is a title associated with Mr. Obama. So if you're talking about his car, what will you say is Mr. Barack Obama, President of America's, the last noun is America here. It will hold the apostrophe S. For example, now if I give you a sentence, Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India's car is black. What will hold the apostrophe? The last noun associated with will hold the apostrophe. Mr. Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India's will have, not Mr. Narendra Modi's. Okay. What I mean to say is there will be no S here. The S is always given to the last. See, when we say this, it might sound wrong to us, but that is what the rule of English says, that whenever it's a title, it's going to have an apostrophe at the end. Okay. Also, you cannot use, the second rule says you cannot use double apostrophe. If the sentence is, my daughter's friend's mother is a pilot, there are two apostrophes successively, which is incorrect. You will have to nullify at least one apostrophe. So the sentence will be, the mother of my daughter's friend is a pilot, and you have only one apostrophe here. Okay, so we went through 6 rules of apostrophes. Okay, the first rule was never use an apostrophe with living beings. Okay, but only with if it ends with an S, then don't use the S. The second rule was never use apostrophe with non-living things. And the exception is if you personify it, if you make it living, then you can use an apostrophe. The third rule was that the joint and disjoint possessions. Okay, this is very important. Then the rule of the title, and then the rule of double apostrophe. Okay, now this is a very easy, I mean, you all must be aware. You all just have to go through this, how to make nouns plural. The basic case, whenever they end in consonants, you just add an S to it. When they end in SS, SH, CH, X, and Z. So buses, classes, all these are ending in SH, X, or Z. So you add an ES to it. This is very basic, okay? Also, these words ending in F and FE, you just drop the F or the FE, replace it with V and add an ES. So wife, WIFE, just drop the FE and add a VES to it. Okay. Okay, so okay, now these are again some ways how to make nouns plural. Man becomes, so you change the inside vowels. Mouse becomes mice. And food becomes feet, goose, geese, louse, and lice. Okay, or you can add an en to the end, like children and oxen. Now there are few exceptions which are very peculiar in the examination that you have to know is these. These are very important. Criterion. Now when there is one condition, you say criterion. But when there are 4-5 conditions, you say criteria. This is a very important noun. Keep this in mind. Also crisis. Look at the spelling. When it's an I, it's singular. When it's an E, it's plural. These are the most important of all. When there is phenomenon, when there is one Incident is a phenomenon. When there are many situations, a phenomena. Memorandum, memoranda. Radius, radii. And these two. Terminus, termini, oasis, oasis. Okay. Now this is just for your additional information. Two plurals, these two words, appendix and index. When you make them plural, they have two meanings, two different meanings. Appendix, when you add an es, it becomes a medical term. And appendices, it becomes something that is addition to a book. Okay. Also, exceptional noun. There is a list of what I gave you this, Rahul. This is the list. This is all the nouns which are very famous for the examinations. They try to confuse students in these. So these can be enough. And if I come across more, I will give it to you. Okay. So indices. So index, when you make it plural, it becomes indexes. The index in book, the content list. And indices in mathematics that we have studied. Okay, so now let's do this exercise very quick. So you all can just in the comments, in the chat section, write the nouns which are incorrect. And these are all on the rules that I've taught you all now, just 10 sums, 10 sentences. Yeah, right. Just write down the word. Just tell me. So first, so let's go sequentially. Okay, so you all don't lose the pace with each other. So for first sentence, it's going to be her hair got messed due to the wind and not hairs. Second sentence, anyone? Yeah, but what is incorrect? Yeah, right. Police, because police is always going to be plural. Third sentence. Come on, fast, speed up. It is all about the speed. Yeah, so what will come in place of group? Anyone with strong vocabulary? Yes, right. Crew. Crew of sailors. Both? Yeah, so what will come in place of a? The. Okay. Okay, yes. Fifth. Fifth is again tricky. Wait, Rahul. Fifth. Fifth first. Yes, furniture. As I said, for information, baggage, luggage, furniture, all these are words that always exist in singular form. Seventh. Yeah, sixth is this. Seventh will be no, Rahul, Pallavi. Read it again. First, tell me if they have one single father or if they have different fathers. Rucha and Samhita, are you all actively solving? Okay, so they have different fathers because I've said our meeting. Okay, so here it's going to be Sita's with an apostrophe S because they are different fathers. And if you all want to give them a same father, then it's going to be Sita and Ram's father is meeting today, but is meeting whom? So, okay, so this is going to be apostrophe S. Sita's and Ram's fathers are meeting today. I hope this is clear with all. Rucha and Samita, not one answer from your side. Yeah, so they might be meeting each other. So that's what I'm saying. They have to be different, right? So then it's going to be fathers, not an apostrophe S as what you said. Apostrophe S when you give a belongingness or a possession. Here there is no case of belongingness. Okay, so eighth question. Where do you want to put it's, Pratiksha? No, it's complete. No. See, the scenery is a word. No, scenery is a word that is always used in singular form, as I told you all. There are some words which are always used in. So sceneries is an incorrect English word. It is always going to be scenery. Okay, it is always going to be scenery and not sceneries. So the list which I gave you all, now to go back to that is going to be a task. Okay, so the list that I gave you all, some nouns always in singular form. This is a part of it. We will go back to it once, so you all see all the words that I have written there. Okay, let's do the last two, and then we can revisit that slide. So it's going to be scenery here. Okay, now tell me this 9th and 10th. Yes, right. And 10th one? Yes, right. Pants. Yes. What do you want, Pallavi? 3, 1. The third one. Pallavi, what exactly do you want? Okay, first I will make you all read the list again, which I said does not exist in. See, just go through these words. Never used in plural form. Scenery. Okay, wait, Pallavi, I'll explain. First, you go through this. Scenery, poetry, advice. It's never going to be advices. It's going to be advice. Package, wastage, money. Money is never going to be plural. It's never going to be monies or incomes. It's going to be always income, salary, jewelry, bread. And this is the way to make them plural. Stationery, crockery, breakage, machinery. All these are always going to be in singular form. Okay, so going to the third example. Yes. So the third example is group. So the collective noun for sailors When you talk about sailors, a group of sailors, it's crew. The word is crew and not group. That's it. Okay, so just so that we build on our vocabulary, just give me 1 or 2 minutes more. So as I said, vocabulary is something that you'll have to build daily. Okay, it's not like grammar that we can take 10 sessions and I give you the rules and it's done. Vocabulary is never ending. So a way to learn vocabulary, as I said, learn 10 or 15 depending on your grasping power. Learn 10 or 15 words every day, and then you use these 15 words in your daily conversations. Okay, so now to begin with, if I give you, so the way to learn these words is by learning the root words. See, this is from my side what I can give you a list. Now let's talk about this word ambule. Now what ambule means is to walk. Okay, so how many words can we learn from this? 4 words. Okay, amble means to walk at a very slow speed, to walk in a very relaxing way. What is ambulant? Ambulant means walking or moving. Okay, what is ambulance? Ambulance is a vehicle in which you move people, you move the patients. What is a preambulator? The prams or the baby carriage in which they carry the children or the infants or the babies is called a preambulator. So ambule gives us 4 words along with it. So you learned 4 words for today. Also, there is another root word. So there is another root word like this: fide, feder, fid, which means what? Which means faith and trust. So when we talk about confidante means a very close friend with which you share your secrets or your private talks and you trust that person is a confidante. What is fidelity? Fidelity means your loyalty, your faithfulness. When you say you do not cheat someone or you're very faithful to someone, it's fidelity. Sorry, it's fidelity. And infidelity means what? The opposite of fidelity is disloyalty or unfaithfulness, is infidelity. Then what is confident? I know all of you are aware of this confident word, feeling or showing confidence. What is federal? Now, federal is a union of states. Okay, this is again associated with a lot of trust, where states together form a federal. Okay, confederacy, which again means league or an alliance. And this is another word which is a Latin word, semper fi, which means always faithful. Okay, so again we covered how much? 3 and 4, 7 words. Okay, so these 7 words and these 4 words from root words. Now you have to remember this, and remember, see, studying vocabulary will take 10 minutes of your daytime. Trust me, it is not more than 10 minutes. You go to Google and you just type vocabulary or root words, you will get all this. And all you have to do is keep a target of 10 words in a day. And now the next day, so today if you study 10 words, tomorrow if you're going to learn all the 10 words, you again revise. Okay, so on the 3rd day, you are going to revise the words you learned on the 1st day and the 2nd day. And that is how you will build up your vocabulary. It will not be built on the last 1 month of your exam or last 2 months of your exam. Okay, and also start reading a lot of newspapers and articles, because again it is not about knowing to read English, but it is about improving your speed. You have to read it, you have to comprehend it, and you have to mark the answers. So that's it for today. You have any doubts, so you can write it on the chat section. Okay then. So are you guys okay with this system, right? Of we learn vocabulary every day after every lecture, okay? Okay. So see you all. Yes. Bye. Thank you.